Hi, ladies and gentlemen, it is Eddie Marcus again. And as usual, I can't go to bed when I got you on my mind. When I'm thinking about the pain and suffering, and even if you don't consider it pain and suffering, it's a lack of life. It bothers me. It bothers me because I know that there is life in abundance and it's there for those who can recognize it and choose it. And I know whether we do that or not is determined by the language we understand or the spirit that moves us. And if we are not being moved by the proper language or the proper spirit, then we will not be walking in that path of life. And there are so many reasons why we're not walking in that path of life. One is because we don't know of it, and we don't get that type of indoctrination. And even if we get something close to it, we don't actually see it being materialized because it has an essence that, well, we just are not ready for, we say. But here I am, ladies and gentlemen, because I want you to know we talk about identifying the problems and what this can be done that would eradicate this and eliminate that, especially when you're talking about politics in the USA. You're saying what the Democrats could be doing, especially considering how the Republicans have thrown in the towels. What the Democrats won't do, and then if they did, what would it do? You know, they did when they ran president for the United States, and we see where that happened. We see what happened with that. So I say, ladies and gentlemen, when we start thinking about trying to knock out some problems, we should go beyond trying to make sure that we are doing better than they are doing. Because if that's all we're doing, then as far as others can see, you are no better than those that you claim to be better than. So what I'm basically saying to you is this, is if you see one person in all of the billions on earth suffering, that is just as destructive and devastating as if you saw, let's say, 6 billion people suffering. Now, many people might say, let's deal with the 6 billion because it represents whatever significance you give it. And the one is left there. And that one is always a representation of you. That one is always a representation of the totality of it all. Because you yourselves, by choosing the 6 billion, have solidified that that possibility exists. Now, the righteous thing to do that would clear that is to make sure that not only the 6 billion, but 6 billion and one. You do 6 billion and one. When you do that kind of stuff right there, then you can stand before the world with no shame. No one can condemn you because you've done the right thing. And so what I'm saying to the people that you're condemning and saying things about, yes, what you're saying is true. Yes, perhaps some of those things, if you implement these new things, could make your life a little bit better for some. But what about those that it doesn't? Is that okay? I say no. And if it's not okay, then why do we just settle as if it's okay? I propose that we as people of now don't accept that. We got everybody ripping people off. Oh my God. The killing, babies, old people, people in nursing homes, helpless as can be. And you got men, they call them strong men. Men, many of them call themselves instruments of God, children of God. And what are they seeking? Power themselves. Power themselves. And in doing this, nothing else matters. And yet, every last one of you want to live. Every last one of you want to live in peace and be prosperous and free. Every last one of you want to experience joy and be happy. Not only that, every last one of you want to live your dreams. Every last one of you that are hearing my voice right now. But in order to do that, you got to respect the truth. The truth is, men can only express what they are about. They can't go beyond that. They are in bondage, so to speak, to who and what they are. And everything that they do or try to talk outside of their boundaries is nothing but an expression of what they themselves are. And they themselves are not included. They're not expected to be the representation of all, because everybody has its worth. Everybody has its due. And everybody has its purpose. And this, my friends, is what you and I must recognize, that that power that is responsible for this earth, that is responsible for, as I say, the trees and the rivers, who put us here, individuals, to honor and respect that power that we cannot see, but we know that we're not going to give our allegiance to a power like me, a power like you, a power like one another. No, we can work together to achieve whatever we want to achieve, but none of us will be able to lead us off the path of righteousness. And when I say righteousness, I'm talking about that which causes no pain, which causes no suffering to anyone. And yet everybody can benefit from it one way or the other if they so desire. Now that's what I call. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I say these things to you because in America, I hear it all the time. They say white people have screwed this country. This isn't coming from black people. They are saying that white people have been so evil and so distant, so far from God. And the evidence, just like this earth we're sitting on, the evidence of the ugliness that white people have perpetuated and perpetrated on people of the world is all around us. All around us. Their history is all around us. That's why they try to keep rewriting it and rewriting it and rewriting it to say what they wanted to say. And even when it says what they wanted to say, it doesn't clear them. And so I'm not trying to just say that white people are responsible. They played a role, but they only played a role. They had no power beyond that role that they played until everybody else bent the knee and accepted it. And they went along with it, as the people of the world are going along with the starvation, going along with the killing, going along with the abuse of humans by others. We accept that. And I want to tell you this, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what you've been taught, but to me, when you talk about heaven, heaven is the best that life can offer. To me, that's what it is. And many people say they want to go to heaven. Sometimes they say that's what religion is all about, trying to get into heaven. But I don't know what you heard. I know you've heard many things, but I want to tell you this. Human beings were put on this earth. This earth was paradise. This earth was paradise. Human beings walked upon this earth. Now, I don't know when it happened, but somewhere doing that walking, it happened. They started relying not on the real deal, but on their alternative thoughts. They started to become selfish as opposed to being altruistic towards one another. And in that selfishness, they started projecting something that was anti-life. Where it started doesn't matter. Who started it doesn't matter. It started. And we are all victims to it. And we are here on this earth with a lost heaven, a lost paradise. And we say that we want to go to heaven. We say that we want to experience paradise. And we expect, because someone told us, or we read it somewhere, that we can get back in there. Maybe, we're not sure. But if the possibilities exist that we can get back in there, we can get back in there if we just believe that someone died because we've been ignorant, because we turn our back on God, because we turn our back on righteousness, because we turn our back on love. That one died so that if we believe, we can get back into that perfect heaven. Now, I want to say to you, ladies and gentlemen, for me, that is a blatant lie. To me, to get back into heaven, if that's possible, you got to want to more than anything else. You got to want to return or experience heaven wherever it is more than anything that outside of heaven has to offer. And you give of yourself, your total self, in the manifestation or the causation of a manifestation of that paradise, that heaven. Here, and if here is rejects it, then wherever God calls you or wherever the Spirit takes you. Now, that sounds okay to some, but what about between the time when you have your eyes open and you recognize the truth and it's calling on you to act contrary to the ways of the world? It's calling on you perhaps to go against the rules and regulations. It's causing you to go against the system. And they lock you up in jail. They kill you for doing stuff like that. And so you have on your mind, what are you supposed to do in a situation like that? This is what I say to you. What you do is you get there. You commit yourself to the truth that leads you there. And I guarantee you, you'll have no problem with the answers. They will be as obvious as that which got you there. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's getting kind of late. I got to move for tomorrow. And I want to thank you so very much for giving me this opportunity to share with you as I have. I hope it benefits you. I pray that it benefits us all. And until next time, this is the spokesman for the lovely, wonderful life, which includes every last one of you receiving the best that the world has to offer. And it's done through a manifestation of you who engaged yourself in the process and caused it to happen. And you enjoyed the benefits of it. Bye bye.